hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits. Woman.
Good evening, viewers. You're welcome to Woman Without Limits. As we told you, we continue where we stopped. What a story. Oh, my goodness. So did they come out forthright or they just continue to?
They just said, oh, we're not telling you the baby's dying, but we are telling you that we are trying our best. That's what they said. We are trying our best. So for me, I was just like, okay.
That was like a hopeful.
We are trying our best.
Yeah.
Is she responsive? Yes, she's responding to
Yeah.
the medication. So, yeah. So, one day, Ian was at work, and I was in the hospital. That day, baby was really doing badly. Her oxygen levels were coming down and everything. And I remember that day, my mom and dad came in the morning, and I asked my mom, because at times my mom gets like revelations and all those things.
Yeah.
And then like warnings, like she has that spirit of discernment.
Discernment, yeah.
So I just asked my mom, Mom, do you have peace? And I knew she didn't. She didn't have peace because she was like, yes, I do. I do have peace. God is going to work. God is going to work. But I saw her and I was like, I know, Mom, you're just lying to me.
She was saying one thing, but you could tell
I could tell.
she's somewhere.
Yeah. So after they left, it was around 7. I was standing near her incubator. The previous day, her neighbor passed on. They were only admitting 2 children per room. So one of the boys passed on the previous day.
They had twins, right?
Yeah, the lady had twins, so one child passed on. So Zuri was there, and I was there, and I'm looking at the machines. I already knew how to read the machines and everything. And the nurse was there, and I'm seeing her oxygen levels are going down. I'm like, her oxygen levels are going down. So it started 7, and she's on oxygen. It started 80, 78, 60, 40, 21. I'm like, she's going. Do you know her oxygen levels got to 0? She turned black as this seat. She turned completely black. Completely. Like there was no oxygen in her body. It was reading 0, and she's on oxygen. So the nurses panicked. They came in. I was just standing because I was so shocked. Like, what's happening? They came in. They tried to resuscitate her. So they're resuscitating her. They're resuscitating. She's not coming back. I'm like, God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? So she finally picked up. And I was so crushed. The nurses said, we have to intubate her. Intubating is, they get the machines inside her lungs. And I was like, okay. So Ian came, and I was just crying. I told Ian, let's go to church right now. And I remember it was around 11
PM.
Yes. And I told Ian, let's go to church. They have to open. They have to open for us. I want to pray. I want to commit this child to God. We went to church. They were so gracious. They opened for us. I went to the altar, and I was screaming like a mad woman. I was telling God, you cannot allow my child to die. You cannot allow my child to die. We have trusted God. Everyone in our church is praying for this baby. I remember there's a time men in our church, they were praying for her. they dedicated, they prayed for her. And I was like, God, you can't let all these people down, you know? So this child has to live. I cried to God to spare the life of our child. So we prayed, and then we went home. So that day, I kept my phone near the bed because I was like, just in case the hospital calls me, I'll be able to pick up. But I was unable to sleep. I was like, now how is my baby? You know, when you're a NICU parent, you ask for permission to carry your child. And it's your child. With all those machines and everything, you ask for permission. Can I carry my baby?
Yes.
Can I kangaroo? Can I do what? Unlike someone who has given birth naturally, you can hold your baby anytime. But this is my baby who is growing up in an incubator, you know. So that night, my heart was just unsettled. At 6:30, I woke up. I told Ian I have to go to the hospital. Ian had a commitment early in the morning, so he couldn't be able to take me. So I took an Uber and went. I met the nurse. I asked her, how is the baby? She was just like, she's okay. She's okay. Is she going to be okay? She said, I can't promise you. I met the doctor. I told the doctor, I think we need to have a discussion on how maybe we can be able to do this. What actions can we take maybe for the baby and everything. The doctor's like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm coming back. So I went, I was peeping to see if her incubator is still there, if she's still alive or not, because if the baby passes on, they remove the incubator. So I just peeped. I saw her incubator and I was like, okay, she's alive. So I went in. Going in, I talked to her. She was smiling, but she was in pain because of the intubation. I talked to her. I called her Zuri. She smiled, and then she started crying. But she can't cry out because of the intubation, but she's crying. I was asking them, is she in pain? I was like, yeah, she's feeling bad. And after that, I was standing there, and her oxygen started dropping again. I was seeing her die. And I'm there. The doctor started resuscitating her, the nurses. They told me to move to the next room. And I'm there. The head nurse came in. I was with her. I think they called my parents because they knew the baby wouldn't survive. So they had called them earlier. I didn't know. So my dad walked in. And my mom. So my dad, I asked the nurse, what are they doing? Because I can hear the commotion. And the doctor came in crying. She's saying she's not waking up. I felt like I'm in a movie. You see those movies when doctors come and tell you, we are trying, there's nothing. I was like, God, you raised Lazarus from the dead. This is a small baby. You know, what has she done to deserve this? So exactly at 11, I heard the machine, the last beep of the machine. And I knew it's over. So the nurse, I kept asking her what is happening, and then she told me she's dead.
Wow. Whoa. Wow.
So I just told the nurse, I want to see my child. You know, I want to see my baby. Now my mom is there. Guys from our church came, my grandparents, my mom-in-law. So I entered the room and they had covered her in white, whole body. I was like, God, I was here like 5 minutes ago, she was alive. You know, right now they've covered her up in white. I just opened the incubator and took her. And I held my baby. And I held her for 5 hours until she started turning. And when I was holding her, now my dad called Ian and told him, and he also, my mom called one of Ian's friends just to come. And my dad told Ian to come to hospital, but I think he just knew. So when I was holding the baby and then Ian walked in, he just collapsed.
Mm. Mm.
So the worst part, I think, for us was when the morgue guy came in. And he came in with something like a cool box. And that is where they kept our baby, in a box. And they took her away. We kept on asking God, Lord, why? How can you bury your own child? It's not supposed to be that way, you know. So we are there. We've lost our child. We have a bill of 5 million. We've just paid $1 million. Have another bill for 5M. Where do we even start? You know, we've lost our child. This was in 2018. Yeah, so we just said we're going to call friends, we're going to put up a poster online and just try and save money.
And meanwhile, before we even get to the bill, what are you thinking? Where are you at this time?
I think that day was the hardest day of my life. When Ashley's dad called me, I was on the road driving. Then suddenly so many phone calls are coming through. Everyone is asking me where I am. I'm like, I'm on the road, I'm coming. Why? You just chill, relax, I'm coming. I wanted to lie to myself that that's not why they're calling me. So I got in, I got into, there's a waiting room in the NICU department of Aga Khan. So I got in, I found my father-in-law there. He sat me down, I could tell he'd been crying. Sat me down. And then before he even started talking, I just started crying. So, because I knew what he was going to tell me. And I'm just like, I've been working so hard to get you guys out of hospital. I barely get sleep. We've trusted you for everything. Why do this to us? I mean, we're just young in marriage. But I just said, maybe it's for the best. Kept encouraging myself that it is for the best. Because I can't be angry to God, I can't be angry to the doctors. I can't say there's nothing they never did for her. They did everything. And that one I know for a fact. They did everything. She was not neglected. She got the best of the best. But she just had to leave us. This was not her place. And I thank God that I know she's in heaven right now. And every time we pray, we always ask her to intercede for us because we know she's with God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Wow. There's something I love that you said just now, that you can't blame God because He's God. He knows everything. And He does what He does. The Bible says, as high as the heavens are above the earth, so are his ways above ours, and his thoughts above our thoughts. So sometimes we are limited, many times we are limited, especially into understanding some things that God does. We are so limited in our human mind that we can't fathom, we can't wrap it around ourselves. Like, why would a kid die? Why would a kid die? You know, do you understand? But yet God knows. He knows why. He knows how. He knows, you know, he's the one, he's the driver, he's the source, he's everything. And so sometimes that's all you can encourage somebody with. Like, you know what? God knows what he's doing. We all belong to him. Even Zuri belongs to him. So he does, you know, what's best. And so I thank God for that, because there are a lot of people that get discouraged and even go into serious depression and even leave their faith. And they start believing in other things, you know, because it's like God let them down. But really, if you look at who God is, he doesn't let anyone down. And I thank God that, Ian, you can tell that to somebody right now, that you so, you know, let God be God in all this.
Woman. Woman.
And so I know that was a blow. That was a hard one.
Yeah.
How did you pick it up from there? So financially, what happened?
So we had our friends together, and we said we were going to do a fundraising, and we said we were going to put up a poster. And I remember when we did the fundraising, we raised 2.1 million in 45 minutes. I was so shocked.
45 minutes.
And we needed that 2 million first to get the body out of hospital so that we can bury the child. So we saw God there, because we were like, oh my God, okay, 2.1 million, at least we can have our baby. We put up posters, and let me tell you, Kenyans gave for us. We got calls from even outside Kenya. People were calling us, and people were really, they really supported us, and I thank God for that, because I don't know, I don't know what we'd have done, you know. So we raised the amount. Thankfully, we cleared up. Now it's Ian and I. You know, we are having those funeral arrangements. When we're left alone, we will just be the two of us. We would cry. We would cry and hold on to each other. We're like, God, tumetoka mbali. You know, after just being sick. And then now, it was like trauma after trauma.
Right.
And for us, during that period, now we are planning for the burial of the baby. And I remember the day we buried the baby on May 11th. Ian didn't want to go. He refused to come out of the house. He said, I'm not leaving. I'm not going. I'm not going to do this. And I'm like, we just have to. In fact, we were late. Everyone was there at Aga Khan, the morgue.
You refused, you couldn't
But
move.
Ian couldn't take himself there, you know. So we went, and the most painful part is when we entered the morgue and we saw our child on a table, so cold, you know. And I took her dress, I bought her a dress, bought her all these things, and my pastor was there, our pastors were there. And I just told them, I think I want to dress my child, you know. So I dressed her, and we left the hospital to go and bury. You know, at times I just sit down and think, you know, how can you bury a child, you know?
It's difficult.
How can you bury a child there's no even English word to describe parents who have lost children. You know, how can you describe that? It was such a painful moment for us. We did a very good service for her, and we buried her. And now the emotions set in
After.
after. The two of you, I sank into depression. I couldn't understand Ian, you know, as a couple now. There's so much tension.
So now even the marriage
Yes.
is under attack.
Yes. You know,
Wow.
I couldn't understand. I was grieving in a certain way. Ian had his own way of grieving, but I'm like, I even wanted to shake him. I'm like, see, you cry. Like, cry. Release all your emotions. Because me, I'm releasing my emotions. And him, he's not releasing his emotions, you know? So I was like,
Or so you think.
why are you not grieving the way I am grieving?
Yeah.
I think now that's when we had,
Issues.
we started having a bit of issues.
Mm.
There's a day in the house, and I walked past the bedroom, and I saw Ian holding Zuri's, because we always keep her picture in our bedside table, and he was holding the picture, and he was talking to her. So I was like, maybe this guy, he grieves when I'm not seeing, you know.
Wow.
And we were like, things had gotten so bad. I was sinking into depression. I wanted to immerse myself in work so that I try and forget. You know, I have a cooking channel. I used to cook and post recipes and everything. I stopped doing the things that excite me. Anything that would come and I feel maybe excited, I feel I'm not supposed to be excited. I feel guilty of being happy, you know. So we decided we need to work and go for therapy, and so we started going for therapy, and I think that really helped us. Yeah, therapy really did help us. Yeah.
So therapy really helped you. And you are doing it together.
No, we were doing individually and together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started working on your marriage.
Yeah.
And also grieving. How long did it take you? Did you heal? And
I think you never stop grieving your child.
of course.
You never stop. I can't say there's a timeline of grieving or forgetting, because we remember her. We cut her cake last week on her birthday. So for us, she's alive in our hearts, and we said we will not forget our child. She's still our firstborn child, and we'll never forget. And so we did therapy for quite a number of months.
Were you healing, Ian,
Yes, I was.
during therapy?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was good to talk to someone other than Ashley about everything.
And someone neutral, not your family, not
Yes.
anyone.
Not your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But someone neutral.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think it helped a lot. It helped me realize that I was dealing with a lot more than just Zuri. I needed to learn how to communicate my feelings, because she was thinking I'm not grieving for our daughter. Like, I moved on so quick, yet I hadn't really moved on. I've still not moved on. So yeah, therapy worked for us. Yeah. When it lasted.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our therapist had to leave.
She's Australian. She had to go back
To Australia?
to
Yes.
Australia.
But you know that we have amazing therapists here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have amazing therapists. So,
Yeah.
like, if you ever felt it's not enough or you need more,
Yeah.
and you know, with therapy, you always need
Yeah.
after a while for
Yeah,
even
I
other
agree.
things you know. So it's always good
Yeah.
to see a therapist. We have very nice ones
Mm.
here in Kenya, and so you're not where you were. Of course, grieving, you always feel, my baby, you know, always,
Yeah.
but you ease with time.
Yeah.
it gets
it's-
easier.
Yeah, at times you get triggers. Like for me, I used to, where I used to work was a very big commercial area. So when you see someone with a child, you feel, oh my God. Not that you feel bad about the person,
Of course.
but you feel bad. You're like, oh my God, I lost someone, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember our pastor told us that when someone passes on, there's so many things that happen, and at times you get people can say the wrong things at the wrong time, you know. I remember someone told me, at least alikuwa mdogo, like amekufa na alikuwa mdogo. I'm like, no, it was so
No,
insensitive.
there are people who just don't know what
you know,
to say.
You don't know what to say to someone. We learned a lot, and we maybe God has placed us in a position to help other couples who are going through the same. Because after experience, we've met couples, even couples in NICU, been able to talk to couples, you know. Yes, we are healing. We are not at a point where we can say we are done, but we empathize. We feel the pain because we've experienced it too.
Right.
So after that, we did therapy. I went back to work. I was on medication. They stopped. After now the 6 weeks thing, the doctor put me on a coil. So I really didn't want to get pregnant for quite some time. I just wanted to be and
To chill.
live and chill. I didn't want
In fact,
that
you said you wait
experience.
for another 2 years again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
Okay, in my
you
head it
even
was 5.
Yes.
in your head it was 5.
Yeah.
So you discussed like maybe 2 years,
Yeah.
and you're thinking maybe 5 in your
yeah,
head.
maybe 5.
It
is
was
okay.
like now, like you
Yeah.
didn't want to even think.
Yeah.
It was too much to even consider.
Yes.
Mhm.
So.
So you put a coil,
I put a coil.
and
And we were
you
good to go.
Right.
I went for the 1-month scan. The coil was intact. Everything was okay. In July, I started feeling bad
How
again.
many months later?
Like 3 months later.
3 months later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started feeling bad.
With a coil.
With a coil. I started getting a lot of acidity. I started getting a lot of acidity. And I was like, hey, this acidity is bad. I remember that day I was from work. I went to Nairobi Hospital. I was checked. They did blood. And they told me there's nothing. I think your pressure is just high. And my pressure started coming up. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, now what is this? My mom insisted again. And she was like, Ashley, go and do a pregnancy test. I remember
Your
that
mother
day we
told you.
argued. Because I
Bless
was
God
like,
for mothers.
we argued. I was telling her, Mom, there is no way I can have a baby right now. This thing is 99.9, you know.
Can we capture what you felt about Zuri, Mercy? What did you feel about Zuri and when she went to be with the Lord?
Zuri was a precious, precious grandbaby. She is still. And I personally and my husband, we used to be in hospital like daily. Ian's parents too. But I used to be there morning till evening. And I used to talk to Zuri. And there are some songs that her mama used to listen to, Travis Green songs. And I would go there, and when she's feeling uncomfortable, I would put the music, Travis Green songs, and she would listen to them and keep quiet and look at me and smile. Can you imagine? I mean, that baby used to amaze me, because I could go there and call her Zuri, and she would turn her face and look at me, as small as she was. And same to my husband. He would go there and call her and talk to her, and she would turn her face and look at us. And she was such a pretty baby. And so on that day when Ashley asked me, I had that feeling, because I could not stop crying. I was crying for like 3 days before that. And I couldn't stop crying. And that morning, when actually they called us from church and they were crying, and they told us what happened. The next day in the morning, we just woke up, and that was the destination. And on our way to hospital, one of the head of nurses, who's a close friend of mine, called me and told me, Mercy, better get here. Things are not looking good. And so I told her I'm on the way. And when we got there, yeah, it was not easy. I remember immediately I was called by my friend. I called Ian's parents and also started the journey. And these children were so broken, It was not easy. As we watched Ashley carry the baby, we were all there, okay, all of us. My husband, Ian's parents, and elders from my church, because our pastors were in India at that time. So they sent elders and some pastors to come in and be with us. And we stayed with her for 5 hours because she was trusting God. Because we have raised our children to believe that anything is possible with God. So she was there holding her baby, trusting God, knowing that there are people of God there and God can raise the baby, bring the baby back. And she held that baby. And it was not easy to take that baby away from her. That was the hardest, I can't even describe. I can't describe the pain when you see your children going through pain, then the pain of losing grandbabies are, so special. Yes. Grandbabies are so special. Yeah. So it was really hard. Actually, my husband and Ian's dad, they were crying the loudest. Yes. It was hard for all of us. But I thank God. The journey is not easy. As yesterday, we were looking at some things and just remembering Zuri because it was her birthday this week. She was born on 8th Women's Day. She was a powerful woman. Yes. So we are just remembering, and we thank God for what Ashley is going to share. We thank God. We know that there's some pain that God brings in our life to help others. So I thank God for her name will live forever, yes, as it helps other couples. Amen. So yeah.
Amen. And we'll talk about the Zuri Foundation after this. So the coil is in there, you're feeling funny again.
My mom tells me I should do a pregnancy test, and I told her there is no way I can do a pregnancy test because of the coil.
Yeah.
But she insisted. So I did the test, and it was positive.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what?
Mother's
head,
instinct. Yeah.
In my head, I was like...
Okay. Mercy.
Yes. What Ashley didn't tell you is that when she lost Zuri, that was in April. When they lost Zuri, the doctors warned them and told them that they should not get pregnant in the next 2 years because what she had was very severe. And if she gets pregnant between then and 2 years, it would not look good. And so they did what they did, and being done with one of the best doctors who does that. So they did it well. They confirmed it after a month. But who is God? So when Ashley started becoming sick, the doctors were saying that they were thinking that she has mild stroke. And so she started going to see even the cardiologist. We did MRI, I don't know what. Can you imagine? Because they were suspecting that. Yeah. Then I got into prayer and I started praying.
Come on.
Yes. And the Lord told me, this girl is pregnant. Hey. And I called and I told her, Ashley, do a pregnancy test. Hey. You're pregnant. And she was like, Mommy, She actually called the doctor, and the doctor said, because the doctor, they know me. They said, mommy is fasting. Just leave. We check the thing.
It's just a fast.
Yeah, that's just a fast.
But they
Everything
didn't
is
know
fine.
Salgibor.
Yes.
They didn't know it was Sabaoth.
Yes.
Saying me am God.
Yes.
A warrior. Mighty
Yes.
warrior, great in battle.
Amen.
Who can say,
Yeah.
and it comes to pass
Yes.
when the Lord has not commanded it?
Yes.
Who is it?
Yes.
Hey, our God. He told you she's pregnant.
Yes. And Ashley said, Mommy, that I've called the doctor, and this thing was checked. There's no way I can be pregnant. So after one, she didn't do it. After the second week, I called her. I was so frantic. I told Ashley, because she was getting worse, and they're still doing these expensive tests here and there. And I was like, no, they're wasting money because she's pregnant. So I called her, and I told her, I just told her, please, for my... Yeah. Yeah. And so I told her, Ashley, for my sake, for my peace of mind, just do it. Just do it for me. And she called me and she told me, Mommy, I'm pregnant. Yeah.
So you've had the news. Where does your mind go?
I
Are you
just
jumping
thought-
up and down, or are you
Nope.
like, oh my gosh?
I said, I am not keeping the baby. I said, I'm not keeping the baby because of what the doctor had told me. I had previously done an MRI because of the severity of the pressure. Preeclampsia can affect your brain. It can affect your heart. It can affect your organs. So the doctors actually thought, once after I was discharged, we've lost the baby and some time, they thought maybe I have a stroke. I could have had a stroke. So I did an MRI, ECG, all those things, yeah. But thank God I didn't have anything, and it didn't affect my brain. So learning that I was pregnant, and my doctor had told me, Ashley, you can't get pregnant. Okay, you can't get pregnant.
And you obeyed because you even put a coil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I am not keeping this baby. A few months ago, I nearly lost my life, and then I lost my child. I've not even grieved my baby. So I was like, I'm not keeping the baby. So we went to the doctor. He said, okay, there are two options. One, you'll be under high-risk pregnancy. And number two is to terminate the child. So Ian and my mom were like, this can't happen by accident. We tried everything not to get pregnant, so this cannot happen by accident. I was like, okay, I have two very good doctors. In fact, I would recommend any woman to these two doctors, Dr. Wanyoni Sikolia and Dr. Yamal Patel. They're very good high-risk doctors. I came to learn you have, as women, there's a high-risk doctor, and there's like
Just a normal.
a general, like a gynecologist, but there are doctors who are specific, who have specialized in dealing with high risk, like gestational diabetes, pressure, all those things. Yeah. So my doctors advised me the same thing. They said either you remove the baby or you keep the baby. So Dr. Amal told me, let's observe you. If I see a heartbeat, I will keep the baby. We'll continue with this journey. If there won't be any heartbeat, we'll terminate the pregnancy. So I was like, God, I leave everything to you. The next week we go, there's a heartbeat. Like, okay, so
Wow.
then this is a sign from God that you
Yeah.
keep the baby. So the pregnancy was filled with a lot of challenges. I used to walk with a bag full of medication to try and help me not get preeclampsia as severe as I did. So I used to take a lot of medication just to keep the baby in, So exactly at 26 weeks, whatever I was suffering from at 26 weeks with Zuri, it came back. So I started swelling.
26 weeks.
Exactly at 26 weeks. So I started swelling. I was like, oh my God, this is not, no.
Hey.
God umetupatia mtoto sasa.
Affliction
Then
shall not
the-
rise up a second
a
time. Are
second
you
time.
quoting Bible?
I'm like, God, me now I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with myself. I'm dealing with a lot of emotions, you know. I was dealing with not rejecting the baby as well, you know, because I didn't want to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're told 26 weeks, my pressure is still high, I'm like, sawa.
Here we go again.
I remember that time Travis Green came to Kenya. At the exact time when I'm being told all these bad things, and I used to listen to Travis Green songs when I was going through when we were going through the hardest point in our lives. And I went for that concert and I told God, I am seeing this guy live, you know, these words, may it speak to me and may this pregnancy just be okay. You know, even if I've been told right now about all these things, let it just be okay. And I remember Travis Green gave his testimony. He also has a premature baby. I was like, God, if you really did this for this guy, then let my baby live. We've just gone through so much, you know.
Yeah. Are you praying, Ian? Are you thinking, are you worried now? 26 weeks.
I think during this pregnancy, I was most positive. Because every time I would see her low, I would tell her, hey, relax. Mtoto ni wetu. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because we came to learn that it's a girl again. So I was like, she's not going anywhere. Just relax. Have your faith. I mean, we've prayed, and God can't do this to us twice. Surely, what have we done to him to deserve that? So I knew that this baby would survive. But she had her own doubts here and there. Of course, we had our scares.
Because of this before.
Yeah, we had our scares when we'd wake up and find the pressure is extremely high. We'd get scared, you know. But I'm glad we survived that bit, and yeah.
So you went 26?
26 weeks. Now, we went for the concert. Everything was okay. I started feeling bad, and in fact, I forgot to mention that after doing the scan now for my second baby, I asked the doctor, now when am I due? And he said March 8th. And March 8th is the same date I gave birth to my first child.
Zuri.
Yes.
Wow.
They share the same EDD. So I'm there. It was around January 1st, 2019. And my cousin usually has a birthday. Her birthday is on January 1st, and all of our family members were there. And I was in so much pain. I was in pain.
Where?
I was feeling pain in my back. I was just feeling pain. I'm like, hey, this pregnancy. When I told my doctor, he was like, I think those are Braxton Hicks, so it's okay, you're safe. So we did a test. Okay, on that day, my mom told me, Ashley, I think you need to go to see the doctor. I was like, Mom, it's a Braxton Hicks. My mom started praying. But then let me tell you, this second pregnancy, my mom was praying everywhere. She used to carry anointing oil. Every time she met me, she would anoint me. She would anoint the baby. She was hysterical.
No, I need to capture that moment. So, Mercy, you are hysterical.
Let me tell you, the day I learned that my kids are again pregnant. Now, let me tell you, no work. There was no work I did that year. I was praying. Just praying. Nothing else.
Fighting, warfare.
I was praying until one day my husband told me, you, do you think you can manipulate God with those prayers of yours? Because I used to pray a wrong prayer. Because I used to pray, no preeclampsia, no suju. What? I used to cancel everything that preeclampsia entails. And my husband told me one day, it was at 3 a.m. I was lying prostrate on the floor in my bedroom. And I was, canceling and, covering and whatever. Yeah. And my husband told me, Mercy, let me tell you, you're going the wrong way. Don't pray like that. What if Ashley gets preeclampsia again? Yeah? You have to tell God that even if it comes, God is going to be there. Yes. Stop those canceling and what prayers. Pray that even if it comes, God, you're going to show up. And so I changed my prayer. And I started praying and telling God, God, you're going to cover this girl. You're going to protect my children and my grandbaby. There's nowhere she's going. And I started praying and telling God, even if preeclampsia comes or whatever, Lord, you're going to be there present. And let me tell you, I used to look for every opportunity to anoint Ashley. They would come to my house to tell me what the doctor has said. I tell them, let's pray. I anoint Ian's hands because one thing I knew, we needed money. And I said, because the other time we came in, family and friends, and we put in some money for them. And I said, this time, because I knew it was going to happen, my kids are not going to beg anybody for money. God is going to show up in his own special way. Yeah? So I could anoint Ian's hands and pray for his work. And I anoint my daughter. And let me tell you, like my brother, he always has a birthday for his, my small brother. He's very young. He's actually Ian's age mate. So I never go for those bashes. But that day when I heard that he's having a bash and Ashley will be there, I told my mom, let's go. We are going for that bash. And so we went with my mom and my sisters. And when we went to that house, they had so many visitors and they were all over the place. There was nowhere to pray. And by the time we were leaving, I'm like, now how am I going to anoint Ashley in front of everybody? You know? And you know, I just told people, excuse me, switch off everything, we have to pray. And I took my anointing oil and I anointed Ashley and I prayed over her. Then I told everybody, thank you for allowing me. And I left. And I remember even the day, just the Saturday, there's a Saturday we called, my sister had come in from the UK. And so I told my sisters and my mom, we are going to pray for Ashley today. And that's when she was having those labor pains. And I remember we anointed. And from that week, the fast to the, was it 5th? I was just anointing her every day. If I get opportunity, I anoint her. Yeah, and pray over her.
Yeah, I think, okay, Mom, you're being too much. Because she was praying. And she's not praying at, oh Lord, we thank you, or we give you praise.
Yes.
Lord! That's how she used to pray.
Loud and aggressive.
Loudly. She doesn't care who is there. She takes
Yeah.
the anointing. When she anoints, I come in the blood of Jesus from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet.
Right.
She used to pray. She used to pray a lot.
That's all the time we have for you today. We'll be back here next week, same time. I want you to know that your life can never, ever, ever be the same again. This is Woman Without Limits. May God bless you. Have a wonderful week.
You're a woman without limits.